They made this one way too easy. I mean, if I'm gonna be talking about the new Xbox, then this stuff just writes itself. I could try to take it seriously, but just look at what we're dealing with here.
For the first time, you and your TV are going to have a relationship.
Well, this is off to a great start. So the Xbox One reveal began with a good 5 minutes of hyperbolic talk about how wonderful the Xbox brand is before finally leading into a reveal of the neo-80s visual design of the console itself. It was a whole 33 minutes into the event that we finally saw our first bit of game trailer, which was, of course, some non-interactive looking cutscene angle stuff. So what were we watching for that entire first half?
Xbox, watch TV. And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
They spent all that time celebrating a minor convenience feature that strangely defines the Xbox One. Microsoft executives somehow think that pressing the input button on your remote control is too much of a hassle for an idealistically large market of rich and lazy Americans that probably don't exist. So they put a TV tuner into the thing. So I guess what we gotta do is take some kind of video output from the back of your dish or DirecTV box or whatever, and then stick it into a video input in the back of the Xbox. So then you take video output from the Xbox and stick it in the back of your TV so that you can watch TV on your TV. You gotta understand the dystopic cyberpunk future that Microsoft's doing business in. With a flood of similar devices taking up space under everyone's TV, there's a big push for convergence. And these features were designed to make the Xbox take up space that would otherwise be occupied by stuff like Apple TV. And this TV tuner is kinda like a capture card. You're supposed to daisy chain your other consoles into the Xbox One, and play your other video game consoles on your one video game console. And what's weird is that the Xbox brand is a game console brand, not a TV brand, so the people buying aren't really the target market for this. And you gotta understand that a lot of the people that buy games like to be weirdly partisan about liking games. Of course, I'm not talking about everyone, but I've recently come to understand that a lot of gamers out there expect these companies to adhere to some kind of weird idealistic image that they've drummed up in their head, as if Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are not giant publicly traded megacorps whose sole interest boils down to increasing profits. When I made my commentary about the PS4 reveal, I suppose the greatest lesson I learned was that the console wars are still going on. What was more fun was learning that a lot of people think I'm an undercover Microsoft agent trying to sabotage the competition. It reminds me a lot of my childhood, when all the kids would pick a binary side depending on whether their parents got them a Sega or a Nintendo. I guess the difference is that back then, those consoles offered a unique experience each, with unique franchises, characters, and controllers. Multi-platform releases would almost be entirely different games when ported to the different platforms. They didn't have the same hardware, the same features, or the same games, and the multi-platforms weren't the exact same experience across every platform. It felt like we actually had something meaningful to argue about, like there was something intangible and special that each brand represented. Then we all grew up and realized that we were actually being brainwashed by materialistic marketers into getting us to spend our parents' money on shit we didn't need. So believe it or not, it's 2013 and the console wars are still going on. Except this time, people are arguing about which console disappoints them the least. And, well, if we're gonna swarm over the most disappointing console of the day, then it's clear who the loser is. This event received so much backlash that it made the PS4 reveal look good. Hell, that one's mixed reception looks like universal acclaim compared to this one. Sure, Sony's not honoring people's old digital purchases or letting their machines emulate old games for backwards compatibility. Sure, they've stamped on that social button that'll clutter up the screen with a tidal wave of obnoxious pop-ups from your so-called friends, but on the Xbox One, you've got all that on top of a zeitgeist of corporate-controlled, internet-enabled setbacks. With the way people are talking about it now in retrospect, you'd think the PS4 was an anarchist's paradise by comparison. People don't need a list of reasons to not get hyped for this thing. No one's hyped. Who actually asked for these features? Who is it built for? Who's actually gonna watch TV on it? And what do consumers have to gain from losing their ability to sell used games and from having to go through all these online checkpoints? And how is that better? Why does Microsoft want to compete with Apple TV? To be fair, these TV features will probably just end up being underutilized, and it's not like they'll make the games any worse. Unless, that is, these features just jack up the price tag and take up resources that could be used for games. It's just weird that they're trying to compete with the very TV that a game console needs to be hooked up with. Besides, who still watches TV anyway? That's not a rhetorical question. I seriously want to know. Like, I don't really like TV, and I just occasionally watch Netflix, and that's how most of my friends do it. So I really do want to know if these people actually know what they're doing. I never ask anything of you guys, but just this once I want to ask one thing. Do you have a cable subscription that you regularly watch? Just leave a comment, say yes or no. That's all it takes, and maybe some Microsoft people watching it can use that as demographic research data, and I can also get a better idea of who I'm talking to here.
And again, at any given time now, if I want to go home, I just grab, and I'm home. All right. Now I'd like to introduce
All this talk about TV eventually led into talk about the actual games, the biggest three of which are the same games that come out for the same systems every year: Madden, FIFA, and Call of Duty. There's no room for experimentation here because indies can't self-publish. There was something about a new Remedy game that could have been substantial if it wasn't a live-action skit. Something about how a Kinect camera comes bundled with it, and the console won't turn on without it. I actually thought this new Halo thing would be, you know, a new Halo game, but that's an unreasonable expectation because Halo's now a TV show for some reason.
I'm thrilled to announce a live-action Halo television series.
So there's Forza 5, FIFA 21, Madden 22, and finally Call of Duty 10.
So another feature they're working on with animation is the slide. It allows you to get somewhere quickly, get out of the line of fire, and at the same time do it in a really cool looking way.
We've added fluid dynamics, interactive smoke, and also added an AI system to it. So we have fish move out of the way when you get close to them. One of the fascinating new additions to your squad is a dog.
Our new dog model is taken from high-resolution scans of an actual seal.
You know what? I ain't even mad. Even I can't hate on this. Dogs are awesome. I love dogs. You market something with a dog and people just go apeshit. People buy this stuff up. Just imagine how many copies of Fable 2 were sold just by that dog alone. Dogs are a great storytelling tool, so you can be sure that at some point towards the end of this game, some evil Russian terrorist or something is gonna shoot this dog, and that's gonna make people livid. In fact, if they're gonna go down this road, then I want them to go all the way. You know, the old Rise of the Triad had a dog mode, the new Rise of the Triad's gonna have a dog mode, and I want Call of Duty to have a dog mode. I want to play as this dog. I want to snipe other terrorist dogs as this dog. I want all the voice acting to be dog noises, and I want to call in dog-piloted airstrikes as this dog. I want a multiplayer mode where one player is a greased-up dog, and everyone else has to run around the map trying to catch this dog. And I don't think I'm the only one. Like, if anyone else is with me, send a request to Infinity Ward and ask for a dog mode, because that shit would be awesome. In fact, here's a deal. If they include a dog mode where we get to play as a dog in some sort of capacity, I will buy this game for $60 at launch. For the PC, not the Xbox. But I will make videos about it, I will review it, I will do all I can possibly stand to do to cover the release of this game if they include a dog mode. That's the deal. Take it or leave it. Man, just when I thought this pair of disembodied arms was a rich enough character, they go and add in a dog. Frankly, I am shocked. It's either a fantastic joke or a fantastically creepy business decision. Almost as creepy as locking out used game sales or forcing disc-based installs on a system where the disc is completely irrelevant. During and after the reveal event, these executives have been acting real wishy-washy about how they're trying to cripple the retail side of the game industry and scrape even more jobs away from the American economy. This report from MCV claims that retailers can't trade in Xbox One games unless they've agreed to Microsoft's terms and conditions, which requires the retailer's cash registers to install Microsoft's own tracking system, which will wipe games from customers' accounts at the moment of the trade. It also says that Microsoft receives as much as 90% of the price of the sale, with much of that coming from a used games fee that customers pay at the register, which is currently rumored to be around $45. If this is true, then used games retailers like GameStop will have absolutely no reason whatsoever to even stock the thing, and that might actually be Microsoft's goal here. In fact, you won't even have a way to resell your games on a personal level, and that is actually illegal in Europe. But just hours after that MCV story broke, Polygon came out with an entirely different report that claims there won't be a used games fee. Instead, they say the disc will be treated as a warrant to re-download the game if it's checked on the account that bought it, and to re-buy the game if it's checked on a different account that didn't buy it. It also says that certain less connected demographics get to play it offline, while the rest of us just have to deal with being shackled to this always online anti-consumerist hate machine. This shit is getting way too complicated. You know, I like games. I like freeing up an evening to turn off the phone and the social pop-ups and really get myself absorbed in a game. I like to dig through the closet and be all nostalgic, and I like to see what's on the cutting edge, both conventionally and experimentally. For all my humble purposes, these people have ended the accessibility, functionality, and value that I've grown accustomed to. They're not cutting it for me. It's all the same loops you gotta jump through on a PC, but without the benefits of a PC. It's no surprise that they're acting so shady about how their system works, because if they told the truth, then people might realize how badly they want to screw the rest of us. But what's most depressing of all is that this system might just be outrageous enough to work. I have yet to see consumers take a real stand against all the crap these people pull. Selling defective products, triggering identity theft, stripping away content, and forcing DLC. So far, every boycott has failed to produce change, and every controversy has amounted to nothing. It's no wonder they spent so much time with this TV stuff to distract us from the real issues. Asking gamers to think critically about these ridiculous reveal events is apparently asking for too much. I hate it, but the overwhelming consensus seems to think that it's unreasonable to question statements coming from the kind of people who would get up on a stage and praise this thing. If these people told the truth about their products, then people might actually do something about it. If they were honest about how you no longer own the things you buy, about how you can't sell the products lying around your home, or how you're tethered to this always online DRM scheme, people might be taken aback. People might realize that at the end of the day, these guys are giving us nothing to get hyped about.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Drm Scheme.
A relationship. A system closed to consumers and developers. That's Microsoft's new Xbox. We've made sure that interactive entertainment will never be more exciting than it was before today. Because today, we put you at the center of a store in your living room, where your games will become licenses and nothing else, where your TV watches you at night, and all of your entertainment is owned by us.